confusion, you know.
It's alright, man. Everything's blessed. Yes, Tony. Everyone who's joining, God bless you guys. Can you hear this song in the background? It's mental health evening. I love the words to this song. Yes, hello. In the house, easy boxing, Barry. Easy. The lyrics of this song is for all those that want to be mentally healthy. Because when you listen to these lyrics, you know, I'm wonderful, thank you for asking. Can you hear the song in the background? It's by H.E.R. Her new album's called...
It's not a new album.
Okay, it's not a new album, but it's first me hear it. The song's called Something Keeps Pulling Me Back, and it's by H.E.R. And the album's called I Used to Know Her. Anyone know the album? It's heavy. I'm probably the one that's late. Wow. I sent a request to be in your live video. Well, bless you, my darling, for sending that in. Something keeps pulling me back. Every time I'm trying to leave, wheel it back to the start. This is Reflection and Inspiration, Sunday Live, and now you can bust it in the background, babe. And it's hi from me and my beautiful wife,
who's editing photos,
Queen Dazzleen. Welcome to everyone who's just coming on.
sorry,
Bust that tune a bit louder, hun, because I want to bust some of these lines from this song. Because this is what we all experience, you know. Listen to these lyrics. Reel it back to the start, babe. The lyrics is speaking to us. Oh, it's here, isn't it? If I come off, does it come off?
Yeah, don't come off.
Go on it for me
I'll
then,
get my
please,
box.
darling. Yeah, these lyrics. I know it's wrong, I know it's right. I see the truth, but I stay blind. I say I'm fine, but I know there's no hope inside. Don't even take my own advice, even though you've been showing signs. Oh my, listen to this tune. I love realness. I love truth. Listen to this. Big. I'm here. I don't know how we're gonna connect. So what happens, Mark? We'll send you a thing. You'll see it come up. What is it? A little to join.
I'll send you something. Let's turn this down now. Let's get going.
Yeah, let's roll. Yeah, let's do this. We'll set that up, and while we're doing that, getting Mark in, our guest, I want to talk
Hi,
about...
everyone.
Yeah, lovely, Des. I want to talk about...
Oh, mommy.
Have I got my boxing fans here online?
Shift over, Baba.
Yeah, come.
This isn't... Yeah, that's better.
Nice. I've got my boxing fans online, because who saw the Ruiz Areola fight? Andy Ruiz, Chris Areola. Very good, very entertaining fight. All my boxing fans on here. Who else fought? Chisora. Okay, Chisora, a lot of people are crying and saying, he got robbed and all of that. Did you watch? Yeah, I saw it. Okay, so I see it like this. We love Chisora because Chisora comes with heart. He comes to fight and he's entertaining. But truth be told, the reality of this was it was a close fight. So however you want to see it, because people see things differently, however you want to see it, he lost a close fight. There's no way you could look at it and say that was like blatant robbery. You know, Derek just beat him up. You know, there was like it was a fight of two halves. I had a bet on Ruiz to win by KO. Okay, I think it went points, didn't it? Yeah. Mark Blythe said he needed to do more. He did. Derek's 37. He's getting on in age. He's been in a lot of wars. And if you looked, he looked like me running up my hill in the mornings, doing my morning runs. He sounded like me, wheezing on the hill.
No, Mark, me, not like, you.
No, I'm wheezing on the hill.
It's not you.
Yeah.
I sounded like Derek.
But I'm wheezing. I'm hurt. He sounded like...
No, I sound like some heavy
I
sound
breathing.
Like that.
So do I. I really do. And that's how Derek sounded. So my man was getting fresher, popping off his head with jabs. It was a game of two halves. That's how I saw it. And it could have went either way.
So Norman said, I think there's a shift sometimes now towards fighters wanting to be rewarded for aggression rather than boxing.
Yeah, do I think? Well, if you're, whatever is working, so if you being aggressive is scoring points, then you should be ahead. But there's some people that's aggressive, but they're not really scoring points the way that they look or they should be. So it's ineffective. So on both sides, the guy could be moving, boxing your head off and winning the fight, and a guy could be moving away but not scoring points and boxing your head off. So you know, he's not getting hurt, but he's actually not doing any damage either. So it goes both ways. So I think whatever style you choose, you have to make it work, and it has to be shown to work. And I thought Derek put a lot of work in. He hasn't changed
boxing
in decades.
Boxing hasn't changed
in decades. It's what it is. You know, depends what we're talking about. If you're talking about decisions, no, it hasn't. It hasn't changed at all when it comes to decisions. You're always going to get decisions because human beings have a way of seeing things, and that's all. And sometimes they're being generally about it. Sometimes, you know, there's people that have got the clout to give the edge to refs and whatever, but we know that's how it is sometimes in boxing. Hello, I don't want to get carried. Oh, that Tanisha, nice, T.
Okay,
I hope any of my youths are on. Let's bring Mark in. Mark Fleming.
Mark, he says, why are you saying? It says unable to join.
Of course he can join.
Mark, it says it.
Yeah, it does, isn't it? Why does it say that?
Does he need to update his thing?
When last have you been on Insta, Mark? We can't have things flopping, you know. We got to sort this out. Hit and don't get hit. Simples. Okay, done. You know that.
Let me try and... Mark, if you're there, I think you might need to update your Instagram and then we'll be able to bring you on. So I'll wait for you to do that in the meantime and then I'll send you a request.
Someone said something about Derek, you know, still doing well, or love Derek.
What a character he is.
Yeah, we love him, but we're talking about the eras that it really doesn't matter how we feel. It really just matters how the ref feels. But I love Derek because I love someone that comes in to give 100% regardless of what style they got. They give 100%. That's what Derek does. And that's why I think we love Derek. He's 100 Saunders and Keller next week. Let's go, Billy Joe. Well, let's go. Because I want to see this one, bruv. This one is going to be skillmatic. Make that word up. A skillmatic night. Whatever that is. But it's supposed to be good. Exciting fight. And we're getting some really good fights now. Champion Sonny Edwards just won the IBF flyweight champion. I really like that young man. 25 years old, working hard, you know, had that dream. It's all about making progress and making your dreams come true. It's a thought, it's an idea. And then you go through this process until you make it become reality. That's magic. That is awesome. Just the power of that thought in your head. There's nothing tangible, and then it becomes tangible because of all the different characters, disciplines that you put in place to make something happen. Your dreams. And I have to big up Sonny Edwards for getting that IBF title from a guy that was like two-time world champion, had the IBO version as well, had the titles from 2014 to 209. He had the title from 209 to 214. Then he come back and won another title in 218 to 221. So he's like a proper fighter. He knows his way around the ring, and he's got like 42 fights, 39 wins. Sonny Edwards done a great masterclass of boxing, hit and not be hit, as pugilist says. Well, kudos to both brothers. You done know, Tony. Yeah, kudos for real. Showtime put me in. Yeah. He did put on a masterclass. It was nice. And that's why my man was so frustrated during the fight. So big up my boy, Sonny Edwards, flyweight champion. More and more of the British guys, our boys are just coming home with them trophies and them medals and them belts. Because we're running things, whether it's in Olympics, world class.
Someone asked what you think about the women fighting. I still haven't watched them yet. I need to watch them later.
I don't. I'm a boxing fan. So as long as I'm seeing entertaining boxing, I'm just like, whatever in it. Do you know what I'm saying? Women want to fight. Man want to fight. Do you know what I mean? Who am I to be saying that anyone should do anything? Do you know what I'm saying? Do your thing. And if I enjoy watching it, I'm going to enjoy watching it. If I don't watch it. And when it comes to boxing, I'm watching everything. I'm watching everything. So girls fighting, boys fighting, I'm watching because I like fighting. Yeah, so who is my man? What's he? Oh yeah, he's gonna try to descend.
Here it is. Yeah, it's done. I said to him to go on his phone. Brilliant. So yeah, doing it now.
Smashing. Amazing guest. A man that I heard speak when I was on a platform one day. It was all about, there was so many different things on the platform they were offering.
Yay.
And Mark, I listened to Mark speak, and I thought he is an awesome man. I'd love for the audience that I know, my friends, my people on Insta, to hear some of the value that he's brought to this planet and share it with us. So that's why I invited Mark on. You're right, Mark. You're in the dark, bro.
Am I? Oh no. What do I need to do?
How do you know over there?
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, that's better.
There you go.
You know what? I need to turn it around.
Excellent. Welcome, Mark.
Yeah, great way to start mental health.
I've not done this before on Insta, man. I'm so sorry.
Oh, God. No, man. You added flavour to it, bro.
That's excellent.
Nice. Yeah, I love the smile, Mark.
Oh,
love the energy, bro.
Sorry, man.
Welcome. Yeah, everyone listening, this is Mark Fleming. He's a wonderful individual, and I'm not going to take up any more time. I'm going to go straight in and just say, Mark, could you let everybody know who you are and what you do?
Sure, yeah. So my name is Mark, and I work in a number of different spheres, largely professional football. First of all, by providing mental health awareness training for individual football clubs and a professional football league in Scotland, and also providing pastoral support by appointing chaplains at all the senior professional clubs in Scotland as well. So yeah, I work largely within professional football, but work with lots of other people as well. So yeah, just really good to be here tonight.
Beautiful. So regarding mental health, what I'm really interested in, Mark, is your journey, because everybody does something and there's a reason how they got to that point in their life to be doing it. So I just want you to take us on that journey where what you went through to get to that point, what gave you the passion for mental health and to help people in that area.
I guess there was two things, Mark. Latterly, the thing that really got me into doing what I'm doing just now was that I was involved in a suicide intervention with a professional player, and I felt that I was really, I didn't feel I was really skilled up in this area, and I managed to get away with one. I managed to support the guy, get him into a good place, but it was only because I could identify with some of his life experiences because of what I'd been through myself. Which I'll tell you about in a moment. But as a result of that intervention, I needed to get. I realised I needed to get upskilled, which I did, and started working for our NHS in Scotland. And so now I deliver that stuff. But yeah, obviously there's another backstory to that.
Yeah.
And the reason why I was able to identify with this particular player who'd attempted suicide was because I'd had my own run-in with depression some 4 or 5 years previously. And you know, like for me, depression didn't happen to guys like me, because in my head, depression happened to people who were melancholic in their personality, negative, pessimistic, cups always half empty. Like for me, I'm the opposite. I'm quite sanguine. I'm positive. I'm optimistic. My cup's always half full and it's going to be overflowing. That's how I've lived my life. So depression didn't happen to guys like me. So that was the first thing. But the second thing was I didn't even know what depression was back then. So when I was experiencing what I was experiencing, at one stage, I thought maybe I had brain damage or I'd had a mini stroke or something like that, because one of the key things I was really struggling with at the time was just cognitive function, like processing information, assimilating, storing it, communicating it, really struggled. And there was a whole bunch of other things that I was experiencing that I didn't have a clue what was going on. Like my appetite was just completely shot. You know, I lost a stone in weight in 6 months. Couldn't understand why. I just didn't feel like eating. My sleep was shot. Just couldn't sleep throughout the night. I kept on waking up again and again and again, and it was like driving round a roundabout and just not being able to find an exit. I found my energy levels, motivation levels, just shot. Found it really tough being in people's company, because I really wanted to be that cheery guy that lifts people's spirits up and encourages and motivates and, you know, gets alongside them. But like I was just dead on the inside, and I found that the effort I was putting in to, you know, to being with people and to doing what I normally do, like the effort I was having to put into that meant that the next day I was just wiped out. And I just couldn't function physically or even mentally. And this went on for at least 6 months. My wife thinks it was probably a bit longer, but I just didn't know what was going on. Mood, sometimes I'd be feeling nothing, just things that would normally excite me, enthuse me, were dead to me. And I would go into other swings where I just felt like crying for no apparent reason, and I'm not that kind of guy at all. So there was just a range of different things, like physically, psychologically, behaviourally, that went right. And really, you know, I had to get help. And
so at least you did decide to get help. Wow.
Talk to me about what's going on in your mind. What are the battles? Because it just hit me when you said it was draining you, trying to make something look like it was, but that wasn't what it was in reality. It's like the song that I was just talking about the words of, you know, telling everyone it's fine, and but really there's no hope inside. It's just emptiness. And would you understand that totally with what you was going through?
Totally, yeah, because I didn't have a clue what was going on in my head. I just didn't understand what was wrong with me. And I guess I'm typical, you know, compared to many other guys, in that, you know, guys are not very good at sharing their problems, you know, what they're going through. We're much better at solving them and then telling you how we did it. And I was that person. I was like, there's no way I'm going to tell anybody that my head's full of broken bottles and I can't function and I can't focus and I can't process information. They'll think I'm just not right in the head, and they'll not come to me with their problems, and, you know, so no one's going to need me. And I think that's a big thing with guys, you know.
Massive.
We don't mind admitting that there's something wrong if we know what it is and we know how to fix it.
Yeah.
But I didn't know either.
Yeah. Wow. See, that is a very difficult place to be, because it's a tough time coming to a place where it's unknown. You don't even know the answers yourself. And I'm not sure that you can get answers if you shared it. Is it the not knowing that other people are going to understand or someone try and help you makes you caged up even more.
Totally. I thought if I went to the doctor, then I wouldn't be able to explain what was wrong. And I just thought all they'll do is just dope me up with medication. And I don't want to be in meds. I don't want to walk about like a zombie. So I didn't want to go there because it was the unknown, and I didn't know treatment. I didn't know what they would diagnose, and I didn't know how they would treat me. That was the bottom line. And it was really talking to a friend off the record who was a club doctor at a football club, and telling him all my symptoms that he said, Mark, you've got severe depression. And you could have knocked me over with a feather because I just didn't know that's what depression looked like. And now I really was because I thought he was like give me meds. But he did say that there were things that we could try, to overcome this, so we looked at various other options. And I eventually elected to do self-help CBT, cognitive behavioural therapy. And that's what really made me kind of just begin to move forward a little bit. And I think the other big thing was when I actually understood what was happening inside my brain, that it was actually a fusion of certain brain chemicals. And when I discovered also that there was a number of things that I could do to replenish those brain chemicals without having to do meds, then I started to really be much more proactive and intentional about doing that and really looking after my mental health. And that really, is like, increasing and releasing those happy brain chemicals, those neurotransmitters that you need to have good brain health, because if you have good brain health, you got good mental health.
Yeah.
So I was gonna ask you, so you're saying that a lot of people who are suffering from depression, we go, it's a normal thing, we go to the doctors because we're not aware of what's going on, what's happening with us, and explain our symptoms to our GP, doctors, whoever, then more times out of none, then we're given medication. But there's actually other way of dealing with this, which is actually more healthy and beneficial for people.
Yeah.
And what
I don't dispute that some people might need medication, but for example, mild to moderate depression can be treated far more successfly.
Okay, mild to moderate.
And good diet and good sleep than any medication will do. So understood. They can have such a deep bout of depression, they may need medication to help them get on an even keel that they can engage with other means of help. But I would say for most people, I'm not necessarily sure that it's the most beneficial and the most effective, and certainly not a good long-term strategy.
Okay, yeah, okay.
So I want to go even not to that stage, back to when you're feeling what you're feeling. I'm just trying to get into that mindset where you're at, to kind of just figure out, did you think what changed in my life? Is there something that has happened that's made you process something in a way that's created the depression? So what have you discovered on your journey about, what is it? Because there's always something, if the energy isn't flowing through your body well, there's something stuck. There's a problem, it starts showing itself up, yeah?
Absolutely, and this is the horrible thing about depression. If you're just in a low mood, you know what's caused it. With depression, you're not always aware of it. Now, I was dealing with situations, problems, challenges, the same as I've dealt with them for years. And yet, for some reason, my coping mechanisms to cope, to dealing with these things just weren't there. And things that would normally be said to me that were water off a duck's back didn't bother me. Now they got right under my skin. So my coping mechanisms were adversely affected. And I can't say there was any one particular trigger that set this off. But what I will say is that to combat this depression, I did become a lot more proactive and intentional, and began to really understand what things I could do in terms of life adjustments, work adjustments that could facilitate the increase and release of these neurotransmitters, so that I wasn't lacking. And so I went really into a lot of research study. I read what psychiatrists, psychologists, neurologists, neuroscientists, dietitians were saying, and just basically compiled as much information as I could so that I could take as much responsibility as I could for my mental health.
Well
And
done.
so, yeah, man, so like, from exercise to diet to sleep, like even being proactive in things like music, listening to good music that I found inspiring, uplifting, and motivational.
Yes.
Down to being intentional about making sure I found myself in an environment where I was having a good laugh, because these things, are really good for your mental well-being. So
Right.
I just want to really think intentionally about mental health
So
as a
why do you think, Mark, that you made that decision and most people sort of like feel like they have no power and they can't do anything about the situation themselves, and they just trust in maybe the system that gives us the medicine or whatever else? How come you made that decision?
I wasn't prepared to be ignorant of what was going on. Like, I knew something wasn't right, and I wanted to get to the bottom of it. And, at the end of the day, your brain is an organ in your body, the same as any other part of your body. And if that's, in fact, where the issue resides, then I wanted to find out how I could, what responsibility I could take to rectify the issues that were going on within the brain. So, I mean, I effectively did quite a lot of studies around neurology, and around how the brain functions and works, and got an understanding of it so that I could take some responsibility over it, so that I could manage it,
Yeah, I'm just blown away by the fact that you chose to do that. But I haven't heard many people that said, yeah, I found they said this, I think that there's a problem, I'm going to face up to it and do whatever I have to do to try and help myself. I don't, for some reason, that doesn't come natural for most people. They struggle with that. It's easier to lean on somebody else, or without actually making an effort to say, what can I do to find out about what I've got that I can help myself? Like, you give yourself the tools and the information to be able to go on your journey, to improve yourself.
The way I looked at it was, Mark, right? You go to see a doctor. Now, listen, doctors do a phenomenal job, but they're not mind readers.
That's right.
And they're not brain scanners. So if you go to a doctor and you tell them, all about how you're feeling, it's a tick box exercise. They're going to listen to what you're saying about how you are physically, psychologically, behaviourally, and then they'll make an assessment based on what you've told them, but anything inside your brain. So they're stabbing, they're basically got a blindfold on and a dart in their hand, and they're trying to hit the bullseye.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah, just
you know what I'm saying? So, even the medication they give you, they've no guarantees. It's not a one size fits all. One man's meat for another man's poison. So you don't know that the medication that they're giving you, if that is the thing that's going to sort it, because they're guessing. And we shouldn't expect anything more from them than that. I mean, it's great if they had a brain scanner in their surgery and they could actually scan your brain, put up a photograph and show you the parts of your brain that were overactive, underactive, and then prescribe something appropriately, but they don't have that ability,
No.
It's a very interesting mind-blowing place, the mind.
Yes.
And what the mind can do.
I tell you.
It's such a powerful organ in the body. It's amazing. The brain, what we can do, the fact that I can think of something and that brain can work and then I can see it and make it reality. Like, that's amazing power.
That's what needs to be looked after.
As creatures. Oh my.
Yeah, that's what needs to be looked after. And I think we take it for granted that we need to actually, as you said earlier on, our brain health. We think about other stuff healthy stuff with our bodies, whatever, here, there, and everywhere. But I think our brain get left out sometimes. Well, it might benefit from us eating healthily and exercising and stuff, but that happens with us even not knowing that that's what we're doing to our brain. But the benefit of actually looking after it is so good for us, because a lot of us would have actually, even young people now.
But I see giving away that power to not do that is such a disservice to ourselves, isn't it? It's a huge power that we have. And I think that if we had a system that helped promote that, your own thinking, your own development, but we currently have something that sets you in boxes. So it actually helps for you not to use the power of your mind. Do you know what I'm saying? And we fall into that. We fall into it, you know, lifestyles, you know, the TV and just everything and stuff that takes up our time and takes us away from reaching more goals and thinking more clearly and spending some more time with ourselves and empowering. Do you know what I'm saying? Going to see great things, nature and all of that. And we give away that power when we could be functioning on a whole nother level if we only could develop some self-discipline so we can be able to do the things that keep us healthy mentally. Because that's what it takes. If you want to read a book, Mark, you're going to have to shut everything down and say, let me sit down, relax, read a book, exercise the mind. Do you know what I'm saying? Excites yourself. You want to go and have a walk. That's going to refresh my mind, make me feel good. So even though your legs hurt and all that, we kind of forget how much it's done for your brain.
But also, we forget that when we overdo stuff, we overwork the brain and we need to rest, Mark.
Amen.
You could just see it coming, Mark. You know, not even a body blow. It's below the bro.
Yeah, do you know what? We're designed to work 6 days absolute max, and after that, you rest. And
that's why God gave us a day off. He said, have the day off, 1 day a week.
Exactly.
Yes, definitely. We have a day off.
Let's follow that model. If God even took a day off, he created the earth in 6 days and rested on the 7th day. So if the great monster and designer takes a day off, how much more should his created beings need a day off? That's our example.
And he didn't even need to. He just did it as an example.
Yeah, it's an example for us, man.
Yeah, we need a day off. We need, because that all of that strength and, you know, all that work we've put in, it needs to be refreshed, because then you get new ideas, new stuff that comes up, and you're just bursting all over again rather than just feeling tired all the time.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why sleep's so important to your mental health as well, because you need time to, you know, rest your brain, repair your brain, and replenish your brain with the dopamine and serotonin that you need for the next day. So, like, sleep hygiene's a big, big part of mental well-being now for me.
Okay.
It is. It is.
I've got you. See, I think a lot of people go to bed, but they're not actually at rest. Their mind hasn't rested. They haven't let go of. Could you stop looking in my face, please? But haven't let go. But listen, Mark, what it is, it's like I'll be in bed and I'll say, I've got this idea. You know what? We need to start this business. We need to start doing this vision. So, allow it, man.
Go sleep, Mark. That's what you need to do.
Oh, God. So, yeah, because it happens here. I think everyone's going through stuff, you know, this battle, because we all got our mind. So, you know.
Yeah, and there's a strong battle with our minds right now, because there's so much distraction around. There's so much other stuff that's not healthy for us, and we seem to sort of dwell on the unhealthy stuff even more than the stuff that are healthy for our brains and our own well-being, our mental well-being and our mindfulness and stuff like that, you know?
The big things is, right, so like, let me just explain 2 parts of the brain here that's really important to understand this. There's the part of your brain at the front called the prefrontal cortex. That's where you receive information, you process it, you assimilate it, you make sense of it, and then you make rational decisions, and you know, you take rational directions. Okay, that's the thinking part of the brain. But there's another part of the brain at the back, at the top of the brainstem, called the amygdala, and all that does is response to threat when you don't have time to do anything else. Okay, now it's important to have that part of the brain because you'll need it if you're in a lot of danger. But if that part of the brain is used inappropriately, you can start fearing stuff that isn't fearful, you can start reacting to things inappropriately, behaving irrationally and illogically, all that kind of stuff. So it's just so important to be able to know, what part of the brain to use and to kind of really feed this front part of the brain. Now, what happens is this, if you focus on what you cannot control or influence, what happens is the part of the brain that's activated is the amygdala, because it sees threat. And it stops your prefrontal cortex, your thinking part, functioning well. So, control the controllables. Focus on what you can control, focus on what you can influence, and that means you keep that part of the brain functioning well, and it just calms down the amygdala so that you're not feeling under threat and in panic mode and fear, anxiety, and all these really destructive things. Do you know?
That's
so,
right.
focus on what you can control, focus on what you can influence. Don't focus on anything else, because all it'll do is get your amygdala going and you screwed up.
Please give everyone listening some of the top tips that can really help us if we develop them in our routine and daily life, that we know, like we eat veg or we eat fruits. Yeah. I know when I'm doing this, it's good for me. So what can we do, to be good for the brain?
Yeah, so first of all, number one, exercise, 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 exercise. It's got to be a non-negotiable. For me, I'll have at least 1 to 2 hours a day when I'm giving, really giving some good exercise. Now that, it's got to be enjoyable, So don't do exercise.
Yeah, it could be 10,
exactly.
15
Yeah,
minutes.
it has to be enjoyable.
It has to be enjoyable. Yeah, listen, high intensity interval training is great. Get the cardio up, great. Gets the serotonin levels moving, that's great. But it needs to be enjoyable, right? Because if it's enjoyable, that raises dopamine levels, which is one of your happy brain chemicals, and makes you more prone to repeat it in the future. So if you want to be
how do you enjoy all this pain? Like my wife's always complaining about her pain, yeah? How does she enjoy that? Help her, Mark.
Well, listen, for me, see what I do, right? I get my headphones on, I get my conscious roots reggae on, and I skank for half an hour, and I'm getting my cardio up, I'm getting going, and that's how I enjoy my exercise. It does it for me.
Well, so today I forgot my music, and I felt it. I felt it today. I was like, I didn't have no music on.
Yeah. See, the thing about music is music that you find inspiring, uplifting and motivating, that actually raises dopamine levels, which you need, because that's your motivation molecule. That's what you need to go and do things that are good for you, So you exercise an absolute top of the list.
Okay,
Diet.
So number one, exercise. Diet, number two.
Yeah. The link between food and mood is so real. Your gut is known as your second brain. And there's a thing called a vagus nerve that goes between the brain and the gut, and there's continual communication. So it's really important to just feed your gut, get good bacteria in there, and then feed the good bacteria with a plant-based diet. Get as many plants in your diet as possible, and be self-aware. Like, think, what am I eating? What effect does it have on me? Be aware. Because if you're eating something that's leaving you feeling psychologically a bit icky, a bit lethargic, a bit no great, lacking energy, motivation, you got to ask yourself, what are you doing? Like feed your brain, because what you're eating is feeding your stomach, is feeding your brain. So what it is you eat that makes you feel lively, cognitively well functioning. Consider supplementation. Let me just say that vitamins D3 and B12 are essential for good serotonin levels. So for me, I take vitamin D3 and B12.
Yeah, same here.
And I would also say this to
could you let everybody know why B12 and vitamin E is important for them to have? What effect will it have with the brain?
So the vitamin D3 and B12, what they both do is that they increase dopamine and serotonin levels. Okay. But there's a whole lot more to these vitamins than that. I worked with the Liverpool Football Club a couple of years ago, and I was working with a doctor who's one of my best mates, and we were chatting away, and he was saying that historically, whenever they signed a player from Africa or the Caribbean, and he moved up from a southern hemisphere country, that he began really well in June, July and August, and it was all going well. But when it got to November, December, January, February, his energy levels began to dissipate, his mood levels began to shift. And they were putting it down to just homesickness, culture shock, bad weather. But what they discovered was that it was actually a lack of vitamin D3, and in some cases B12. And those supplements became compulsory. So I would say, especially, you know, like in Scotland, we don't get, you know, many hours of sunshine over the year, you know. We have 2 days, and we call them taps off weather, where we put ourselves to the sun and not much beyond that. But I think for anybody in particular who's moved here from a southern hemisphere country, they need to be particularly careful that they take vitamin D3 supplements, definitely.
Yeah, we have to, yeah, definitely.
So a lot of us could be deficient and we're not even aware.
Exactly. Exactly.
I would advise also to sometimes you need to get a D3 test, the vitamin D. Have a test to see your vitamin D level.
Where can they get that?
The GP does it. You just need to request it.
That's your GP.
And then you will know your level, and then you will know how you need to top up.
Yeah, same with B12 as well. You know, the GP will give you a test on that as well. I've known of several people that were B12 deficient, and as a result of that, they thought they had depression. And became very susceptible to kind of illness. Their immunity system was compromised. So D3, B12 are two absolutely essential vitamins that we need to have good levels of energy, but also a good immunity system.
Immune system, yeah. It really, those are like the backbone for our immune system, while the others follow along. But those are like the backbone. The B12 and D3 for immune system. Yeah.
Yes.
Currently, that's really good, valuable information, because that's what should be promoted in the media as well, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
You know, what could everybody be doing to really focus on improving their immune system, which is really
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Do you know, far better to build a fence at the top of the hill so you don't have to go to the hospital at the bottom. You know? So like, yeah, be proactive, be intentional. So another one as well, you know, in terms of looking after your mental health, I've mentioned it already, but sleep, having a good sleep hygiene, giving yourself a good chance of a good night's sleep. So like for me, come 9 p.m, my laptop's off, my mobile is off. I'm just on the kind of chill out phase now. So I don't engage in blue lights, bright lights. I'm just relaxing, and I'm just preparing to have a really good night's sleep, because I know how much I'm going to benefit mentally from that. Sleep's really important. You know, just I think as well, you know, the people you surround yourself with, you know, like the guys that are tuning into your Instagram page here, they're doing their mental health good because like there's life comes out of you guys. Do you know what I mean? Like the words that you speak are life. And that's going to bring life to those that are watching your podcast and stuff like that. So bless you guys for doing that. But surrounding yourself with people that are
really important.
Definitely, man. You know, people in your world that recognise your value, recognise your worth, recognise your potential, call it out. You know, call it out. People like that, really good for your mental health, you know, and be that person for other people as well. Because
so we should be checking out who we're around, who's often in our company and taking up our time.
Absolutely. And also be the person that's bringing, you know, that's recognising the value and worth and potential in other people and calling that out, because you actually do your own mental health much better doing that than being critical or gossipy or slandering, you know. You get the benefit out of being a blessing, you know.
That's correct. So you're making a connection between our immune system and our positive thinking. There is a natural connection between that, isn't there? And this is absolutely when we just try to make it a drugs healing process and not another way of thinking.
Absolutely. And do you know another one as well is having an attitude of gratitude. Every single day of life, I thank the Lord for at least 3 things, usually a whole bunch more. But permeate my time, like in worship and thanking prayer, just thanking the Lord, thanking the Lord, thanking the Lord for all the things. And I speak it out. I don't just think it, I speak it out.
Speak
Because
it
when you
out.
speak it out, you give life to it. You know?
Because you get the power out there, you feel it as well when you say it. Yeah.
Absolutely. So that's vital. Taking time out to rest and have a day off, like we mentioned, but even taking time out during the day and just being in the moment, just recognising the beauty of God's creation right now, round about you, and the people you've got in your world right now. You know, being in the right now,
yes,
and appreciating that is so good for your mental health.
Yeah,
I love
that's
that.
beautiful.
Because so many of us are somewhere, we could be in the house, but our minds are somewhere else. So we're not really present. Our minds are just in another place, worrying about the past or worrying about what could happen that hasn't happened yet. Your just mind's not there, so you're not present.
Exactly.
That's really powerful.
And you know, the only, I'm a great believer in God's amazing grace, right? But grace is only for now.
Mm-hmm. It's fresh
only for
every
now.
day.
You know, you're not going to get it for the future stuff you're going to go through, because you don't need it until you're there.
Until you're there. That's right.
There you go.
You know?
There you go, my man.
That is so true. I always remember that each morning I said the same thing. New grace this morning, Lord. Take me through the day.
So a man of faith, do you think you struggled even more because of the perceptions of people, you know, within your, the company you was in at church, other Christians? They may have looked, you may have had a perception of how it's seen, or because of how people see things, it put pressure on you as well.
So I had a perception of other people's perceptions. that's enough to send me round the corner of that. So I assumed that people would assume negatively of me if they knew that I was struggling. And that was actually very wrong, because they would have been very supportive.
Yes.
And we do that, but listen, we're all guilty of putting on the Sunday face.
All of us. Every single one. That's why I'm hoping everyone's taking notes down that really want to action something. It's about bringing it to life, saying it, writing it down, putting it down, and saying, here's what I'm going to commit myself to. Because that's the only way things is going to change, isn't it?
That's it. You've got to be proactive and intentional.
Yeah.
If you say to somebody, think of words you associate with physical health, they'll usually say things like, oh yeah, diet, exercise, fitness. And then when you say to somebody, think of words you associate with mental health, they go, oh yeah, depression, stress, anxiety. I mean, what's that all about? Basically what's happening is that we think of physical health in a positive way and what we need to do to be physically healthy, but we often only think of mental health when it's deteriorated. And I'm like, no, we ought to be thinking just as positively about mental health and as proactively and intentionally about mental health as we do physical health. So get on it and think about it and work for it.
This is an interesting thought, yeah? I thought we've got gyms all over the place making big business out of physical health. Can you imagine if you had places like that? I think that would put prisons out of business, pupil referral units, teaching people about how their mind works. Giving them the strategy and the model for success, and giving them the information that understands how the system really works, and here's how you work around it, and just get on with it. And it's just pure, utter focus. No excuses, nothing outside of you's to blame. You take full responsibility for everything that goes on, and you move forward. You learn from it. What can I learn? Okay, I failed. I got it wrong. Where did it go wrong? Okay, good. So I need to do that now because I got that wrong last time, so I don't do that again. And this is what we need to be healthy, to embrace the mistakes. It's okay that we got it wrong. It's okay that we got annoyed. It's okay that we feel a bit sad and down. It's okay. Embrace it all. It's a human experience. And once we start changing the way we see things and putting pressure on ourselves and assuming how everybody else is thinking, that's when mental health is right at the door saying, yo, I'm living here, bro.
Hello, move over. Go on, move over. Let's sit here together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Really important.
Totally.
So I hope, has everybody got it listed? Thumbs up, wave, sign if you got Mark's points. And I think we all
Exercise,
need it.
number one, diet, sleep, attitude of gratitude. You said rest, but I'll put it into active rest, where you stop and enjoy the moment, enjoy the nature stuff outside. So it's sort of like, you know, think positively about a bit of, it's like active rest, I would say. That's what it is. Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Do you know what I just realized? That we haven't spoken about the power of breathing and what that does for the mindset. Break it down, Mark.
Yeah, I mean, breathing is just so important. Like, just even if somebody's, you know, feeling panicky, regulating their breathing, just breathing in through their nose for 3 counts, holding for three counts, breathing out through their nose for 3 counts. It's enough to actually de-escalate a panic attack. So,
Trust
like,
me.
think about your breathing. Think about it, you know? Consciously breathe.
Yeah, consciously. Do you know I consciously catch myself not breathing?
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro. And I'm thinking, like, you know, hell, bro. Like, it's like I catch myself, you're not relaxed. I don't know if this happened to anyone else, yeah, but I catch myself being sort of like stiff and not like just,
Relax.
I catch myself doing that. I'm like, P, relax, bro, breathe. Like, and I could purposely do that.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's wonderful, man.
Okay, so I'm going to start practicing that.
I haven't got any questions, babe, from people that have been listening in. Love that. Wow, my notebook and pen.
So a lot of people have been taking notes.
I'm not playing no more. Easy.
That's Tanisha.
I like your ideal, Mark, but the pharmaceutical
antidepressant industry is powerful and corrupt. It would scare me too much.
Yeah, it is powerful and corrupt, but you have that power even more to say what it is that you want.
Yeah.
Yeah, do you know what I would also say as well? If anybody ever is given medication, 2 things. Number one, have a look at and study the potential side effects before you take them. Yeah. Be aware. Yeah, Number 2, going to take 2 weeks for them to kick in, and another 6 weeks for it to really be fully, you know, active and functioning. If it's not working for you, go back to the doctor and say, ain't having this. You know, you're not condemned to using what you're prescribed as if it's the only answer. The reality is that a pharmaceutical company will be sponsoring that surgery, and, you know, he'll be given, or she will be given certain medications to prescribe, but there's a lot out there in the market, and it's a case of suck it and see what works for you. But know that, you know, I would also say as well, if somebody is on medication, the only person that really has the authority to tell you to come off it and how is your primary caregiver, your doctor. So I'm not saying to anybody out there who's taking medication, just stop it, they're a waste of time. I'm not saying that at all. You know, coming off something suddenly like that could actually create more problems than it's worth. So, you know, if you don't want to take medication, speak to your primary caregiver, speak to your doctor and say, is there anything else you've got that I could try? Because meds are not the full answer. Yeah. It's not a silver bullet. It's not a one size fits all. You know, and there's other things you can do to actually replenish those brain chemicals, which those medications are essentially recycling in your brain. That's what, you know, the kind of antidepressant medications do. You know, they recycle serotonin. Well, you know, if you can find ways of getting more serotonin into your brain, then that surely is a better option.
Oh, fantastic. There's 2 questions here, Mark. One said, you mentioned you can be present at a place and not be present. They want you to, so for example, in your house, but mind elsewhere. How do you stay present?
Okay, so really it's focusing on your 5 senses and what you can see and hear and taste and feel and touch, you know. So focus on your senses. But a good way of actually practicing this, right? I find this really effective, right? So if I'm feeling a little bit stressed about stuff, right, and my mind's everywhere, I'll go for a walk in our estate. And what I'll do is I'll look for 5 red things, then I'll look for 5 blue things, then 5 green things, and then 5 yellow things, because these primary colours, the prefrontal cortex picks up first. And what that actually does is it helps ground your mind into the present. And what it does is it de-escalates any stress that you might be having. It's a great wee trick.
I need to try that. You know, that is really cool.
People put that down.
I hope you guys wrote that down.
Sure.
No, because I was busy listening. I was listening. So can you repeat that for us, Mark?
Yeah, so what you want to do is engage your senses. So, for example, what you might do is, you look for 5 red things, and then you look for 5 blue things, then 5 green things, 5 yellow things. These are primary colours. Yeah, and what that does is it keeps you in the moment, and it engages fully your prefrontal cortex. Yeah. So another thing you might do is just be conscious of, if you're outside, the sounds. Become conscious of the birds singing, or of traffic, or of the train, or of just people's voices. Become conscious of that. Focus on that. Think about what the things you're smelling. Think of what you can, even touch round about you. Kind of like put your fingers through your hair, and in my case, slap your head.
Nice.
Become conscious of your senses, and how you can access things through your senses, and that really helps you get grounded in the moment.
Oh, excellent.
I'm always rubbing my head like this anyway, so maybe that's really calming and nice. Yeah.
So there's another question. Someone wanted you to explain active rest a little bit more.
So active rest would be that, you like, for me anyway, on my day off, like, my phone is off, my laptop is off. I enjoy the experiences of that moment. I have the same day off as my wife, so we do lots of fun stuff to do, and I rest what I normally put pressure on, which is my brain. So I'm not thinking about what I'm doing next week. I'm not, kind of thinking about what I did last week and about whether that was good or not, or whether that worked. I'm just enjoying the moment. Enjoying the presence of my wife, enjoying the presence of God, enjoying what's round about me in this moment. A little tip as well for you, right? See if you really want your day off to be effective, right? Day off from 6 p.m. the night before.
Got you.
Oh.
Yeah, they keep this, and I believe God established this amongst them. And it's like, what happens is, if you take your day off from 6 p.m. the night before, by the time you get up the next morning, you're already resting.
Yes, that's true.
Rest. Whereas I used to pack loads of stuff in up until the night before, and then when I woke up the next morning from my day off, I'm like, oh man, I'm so tired. But I found that to chill from the evening before, I'm into a rhythm of rest. I'm ready to hit that day resting. I'm in the rest mode.
So that's what Sabbath's for.
Yeah.
The Sabbath does that. So the sun sets, you relax at that time, you carry on all the way to the sun. That's excellent. Yeah. Thank you so much, Mark. You've answered some of these questions that are here.
I'm covered.
Yes, that's lovely. Everyone's saying thank you. They're going to try them out. God bless you, they say. Great chat. The active rest, in essence, is more like living for the moment, someone said.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's right.
Exactly what it is.
Sometimes I just like lying down, just listening to the sound of quietness. I don't know, have you ever listened to quiet before?
Yep, I did that yesterday.
Listen to quiet.
Yeah, I did that yesterday. When everyone left, I had a moment for myself. And it was just so quiet. I could just actually hear
all the sounds.
There was nothing other than the cars passing outside. I recognized every different sound. It was awesome. That was lovely. Yeah.
So good, so good. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mark.
Yeah, I want to thank you, Mark. I know you're a very busy guy. Where can everybody get in contact with you if they wanted to utilize your valuable skills and abilities in mental health? Where could they get in touch with you?
If they want to email me, if anyone wants their organisation to have some mental health training, I now do most of my stuff through Zoom because of the pandemic. So the stuff I do with football clubs and with charities, churches, and NHS Scotland that I now do through Zoom. So distance is no object now, which is great.
Right.
So if I give you my email address, will I just put it in the comment bit?
Yeah, please do.
Please.
Yes, thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, nice.
That's some great stuff. I'm going to focus on some of these too. Breathing per se. Help me go up the hill.
Breathe.
Yeah.
And there's actually a correct way of deep breathing, isn't there, Mark? Where your lower abdomen, when you breathe in, it comes out. A lot of the time when we're doing breathing, we push the chest up.
Yeah.
Where it's actually, the lower diaphragm we're supposed to be breathing from.
Yeah.
And our abdomen swells up, and then when we breathe out, and that's what I got that as well, that exercise when I was training to do deep breathing. And I thought, I thought you'd done that, but it actually wasn't, because you're expanding your lungs when you're continually breathing, holding your breath, slowly letting it out. It's expanding your lung capacity.
Yep.
Yeah, so there is a certain way how to breathe as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. Yep. Do it slowly.
There's one more question, Mark, before you go. It's, someone said, in regards to anxiety, do you think doing self-regulating techniques for the body and mind at the same time would be more effective?
Yeah, I mean, the thing about anxiety, if I can explain really briefly what's happening there, okay? When you're experiencing anxiety, the amygdala part of your brain, it senses threat. Now, it senses threat. It's perceptive. It's not based on facts or knowledge or information. It just senses threat, right?
Okay.
And so because it senses threat, what happens is that your brain releases cortisol, which is stress hormone, which you need for fight or flight.
Yes.
If you are in a dangerous situation. But if you're not actually in a dangerous situation, then there's no place for that cortisol to go. It all just builds up in your head so that you feel your head's about to burst. And you're really, really anxious. So therefore, exercising is a great way to release that cortisol by giving fight and flight, to your situation. So exercise is really good. And I would say it's probably one of the best things,
There's a lot more people appreciating going out for a jog now than ever before. And they may not realize this is their saving grace to keep them from, just kind of like breaking down.
Absolutely. I mean, that's my go-to, just exercising. Yeah, going for a good lung-bursting walk. Really pound it. One of the things that when I go to London, I work with Compassion UK and doing mental health training for them. And when I come down to Fleet, part of the deal me coming is that they kind of facilitate me going to London every night. Because I love this and I love walking through the streets. I'll walk from SW to NW, no problem. Just boom.
Wow.
I love it, man. I love it. So I'll walk for a couple of hours through the streets of London, and get a wee place for something to eat, and it just does me the world of good. So many things to take in.
That's it. Don't you find that when you're in that place, peace, things become clearer? You can see yourself a little bit better, because no one really likes doing that, looking at themselves. And then when you've got more time, when you create that space where you can spend some time looking at you, I think that develops mental health as well, because you're giving yourself time to be honest and truthful. Like you ain't gonna start having anxiety and get depressed when you're being truthful, honest, and real with yourself. Because then whatever you see, you can start making changes, and that's what helps you to stay focused as well and be mentally healthy, that you have purpose, you have focus in your life. All of these things really help.
Absolutely. And plus as well, when you're exercising, you're increasing blood flow to the brain. Which helps cognitive function. Helps you remember things, clears brain fog, deals with brain freeze. Exercise is great, man.
Look, I feel on a complete, like I've just gone onto another level just because I was going through this process over the last few months where I'm just feeling like, oh, I can't run again. The things I like doing, like my knee injury, it's been there for how many years? It's on top now, it's really painful. And you just think of ways, because I'm 52, you think, oh, no, I can't be running. Too much training, that person's gone in the past. But I can do it. It's just myself just giving up. It was about how I was thinking. And then the minute I said, okay, do this, you're going to do this, I began walking. Then I ran a bit more. Then I brought my weights with me in a rucksack, make the walk a bit more difficult. Then I'm doing the hills, running up the hills. So it's been progressive. But the way I'm feeling so full of energy. I'm going for that gratitude every day. If I get in my car, I wake up or whatever I'm doing, I'm always thanking God for everything.
Yeah.
Experiences that may seem a bit dodgy, where you feel, that wasn't nice of you, but I'm appreciating it because of what I've taken from it.
Yeah.
I learned from it. Do you know what I'm saying? Or it's made me see myself a bit better. Oh, is that how you deal with things now? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm able to see if I'm making progress or if I'm actually changing. Because some of us, to know we're changing, we have to have difficult situations to reveal our character. So I think if we look at things in a more healthy way, which is these things are sent to happen for us, not happen to us.
Yeah.
So if we think of it like that, then we're searching for what we can learn from the situation.
Yeah.
But currently, what creates mental health is we thinking the opposite way. This happened to me, then it's pressure, then it's I'll never be able to come back, and all these assumed
focusing
emotions,
on what you
facts.
cannot change instead of what you can change.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Lovely.
Brilliant.
Thank you so much, Mark, for coming on with us today.
Everyone for coming on board today. We've had an absolutely fantastic guest. Please, everyone, raise a waving hand.
Send some love. Click that love button, that like button for Mark today, guys.
Yeah, follow Mark at.
Just to let you know that I'm on annual leave next week. So if anybody does email me, I'm not dissing them. I'm just on holiday.
You don't mess around. You make sure he gets his active rest.
Lovely.
And that's what successful people do. They have to compartmentalize things, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Totally, man. Totally.
Show some love, Mark, people. Show some love. Thank you so much, Mark. Really appreciate it. For the evening. Thanks. Bye. Speak to you soon. Bye.
Bye. Bye.
Let me X him off because he. Just X. If you can see your X, just that's it.
I really enjoyed this.
Yes,
chat.
Tanisha, that was good, isn't it, T? Tanish. Yeah. So are you ready for the hill tomorrow morning, Tanish?
It's been your life.
Oh, Tony, well done, man.
Well done.
Yeah, lovely, T. That was good, guys. Our mental health is top of the line. See, we've got a head up here. Start from here, down.
Aish.
Yeah,
I'm going to bring you on next week, babe. Okay? Because I don't want to keep anyone. Yeah, I'll bring you on next week so we're fresh. I want to introduce everybody to my friend Aisha that's been through a lot. She wants to just share her struggles with having a young child taking an experience.
So thanse, everyone. Yes, it was certainly amazing.
Sorry for not bringing anyone else on.
Tanisha, you already dressed?
I really need some rest. I need to rest.
I need to go rest now.
For my mental health. Okay? So please
thanks, everyone.
Me. If anyone, I didn't bring you one, don't take it personal. Come on next week. And let's go for it again. Bless everyone. Have an awesome evening. And enjoy your bank holiday as it comes. Yeah, we got an extra Sunday. Well, for those. All right, bye, guys. I forgot to put the work in. Bye.